With Alice Springs, we're looking at the next stages, the decan ward, ICU and high dependency unit, and we're looking at the upgrade of the corridors as well, so that's starting to bring together all the earlier works that we've done through there. Okay. So more challenges on that one, and more involvement. And with Tennant Creek, we've pretty much finished the Tennant Creek Emergency Department. It looks like other works are on hold for obvious reasons, lack of funding, but it looks like that the hospital will get a new emergency department starting in the next few months up there as well. So a few projects that are being delivered. It's dealing with the lack of resources and high transient population base. People take it for granted that they'll be dealing with one person all the way through, whereas in remote Australia, you don't. You start off with one person, you end up with another person, probably a third and fourth person to the end of the project. So that's one of the challenges, and getting them all on board and supportive. As much as it's a challenge, but it changes your thinking to say, well, it's not person-based, it needs to be a holistic approach. So yeah, it is a bit different. And it's also understanding that they're under a lot of pressure. It's finite resources, limited staff, working in extreme environment. Yes, it's rewarding, but that's the reality. It's a very extreme environment, so that's probably one of the key challenges. Yeah.
I guess it really kind of emphasises the importance of like communication when working on projects like that, and working with everyone and keeping them updated, and everyone kind of singing from the same song sheet from one person to the next.
That's critical, and it is important to document what is agreed and the journey that you're on. That is so important, so that when the next person comes along, they've got a history of the project and understand it in simple terms, in language that everyone understands. So it's not a fact of using jargon for the sake of it.
Yeah, and obviously with the remote working, but I guess more so in your case, I know you mentioned it a few times there about like the hot weather, the regional issues. What unique challenges do you think this remote and regional aspects have on the design itself?
It forces you to respond to the environment. Too easily we forget about what's happening outside, and we focus on what's within the building, what's within the facility, patient flows, staff flows, safety considerations, all very relevant, all very critical, but it forces response to environment to actually lift in profile and priority, and to factor in that there are extremes and that your building needs to respond to those extremes. Engineering solutions, for example, along the coast don't apply in Central Australia. Air conditioning design criteria need to change, need to be differently considered. So it's really starting from base principles and not just taking things for granted and assuming that what you've done before elsewhere will apply here. You just have to always factor in what is absolutely necessary to this project. It's not a factor of just saying, well, we've included it because it feels right. You actually test everything that goes into the project, because at the end of the day, cost reflects what is in the project. And then look at the complexity of the project. Is the project over-complex? Has it been over-designed? And work your way back. Look for the simplicity, look for the simpler solutions. Once you do what is absolutely necessary, and still future-proofing and adapting and creating adaptive principles, but actually then look at what is absolutely necessary, and then that will be reflected on budget. And yes, at the end of the day, you work within a budget and a cap or a ceiling, and that's all you can do. At the end of the day, then you work priorities if you're struggling to keep it contained within that dollar figure.